What do Depp, Miller, and Manson have in common? Part 1. You guessed it, a fascination with the dark arts and the abuse of women. The deal with these guys is a combination of what I call Peter Pan factor, satanic practice, but are also possibly the victims of trauma. Marilyn Manson has written that he was abused in his home. Johnny Depp claims his mother hurt him. Does trauma turn people into abusers? No, but it makes them feel dark, especially if they are men, because they have been emasculated. Abused men externalize their abuse and become abusers. Women are more likely to internalize abuse and therefore become abused. But there is another element to these men, the practice of a certain religion. Isn't this like me calling the Pope Catholic, calling Depp, Marilyn Manson, and Miller Satanists? I think knowing what these men believe is helpful in understanding the humiliation they like to cause their victims. The Aeon of Horus is upon us. Part 1. Ezra Miller. Ezra Miller is seen in this image from a recent Vogue appearance. I guess this is his best look yet, but here Ezra is displaying the image of Baphomet. This is the depiction of Baphomet by Eliphas Levi. It is incredibly famous. Most of us are familiar with it. Clearly Miller is choosing to convey this symbolism with his pose. So what is the Aeon of Horus? What does the abuse of women have to do with engaging in the dark arts? Crowley wrote of the Scarlet Woman, Babylon, the Great Mother, or the Mother of Abominations. These men must siphon off the energy of the women that they are with. Look at this clip from Mia Solange's TikTok. We can clearly see some writings on the wall. The red and black outfits, none of this is a mistake. Miller has also said things about drinking blood and accuses women of being witches from Animated Times, edited for clarity. Then he, Miller, turned to the mother and accused her of being a witch and a vampire and repeatedly yelled at her, "Do you want to drink my blood? Do you?" Here he was harassing a 12-year-old. They alleged that the actor caused trouble for their family one evening in their downstairs neighbor's home and acted inappropriately towards the non-binary child. Note the use of non-binary. That's going to come back later. A judge in Massachusetts signed the protection order and spoke with the 12-year-old accuser, their mother, and another neighbor who was present at the scene. The conversation got out of hand after Ezra Miller claimed that the board game Parcheesi had Rastafarian roots. Then the visiting neighbor, who is half black, asked Ezra Miller as to which sect of the Rastafari movement it originated from. At this point, Ezra Miller was furious. The visiting neighbor recalled what he said. He said, "You don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. What did you say to me? What did you just say to me?" Adding, then he opened up his jacket. He had this big Sherpa jacket, and he opened it up one side. You could see a gun, and he said, "Talking like that, you could get into a really serious situation." What exactly is going on here? Ezra Miller is known for his violent outbursts. He seems to have disappeared for now. I guess he is in Vermont with the young girl he groomed? I'm not sure, but I have looked at a Twitter friend of his who seems quite active in defending him. So the young girl that he disappeared with, her name is Dakota Iron Eyes. She is a very young activist from the Dakota tribe. They met at Standing Rock when she was 12 and he was 23. Seems to have a thing for 12-year-olds, which is absolutely disgusting, but also I think the numerology is kind of interesting. The 1 and the 2 there, or the 21, seem to figure a lot into the numerology that these people like using. It also seems that Depp stains are the same as Miller supporters. Also note the trans flag and the insistence of Miller's that he is non-binary. I believe that Miller suffers delusions of grandeur and has even compared himself to Jesus. From Last Real Indians. After January 1st, Chase Iron Eyes accompanied Ezra Miller and Dakota to Oakland, California. Also in tow were two young women, Stella, aka Stella Marbles, and Mia Solange, aka Elia Arias. While at the state park, Ezra repeatedly told Chase that they believed themselves to be the second coming of Jesus Christ before pulling out a firearm. Miller, like so many celebs these days, seems to be trying to run a cult. In fact, back in 2020, he was allegedly running a cult out of an Airbnb in Iceland. In early 2020, after filming for Fantastic Beasts: The Secrets of Dumbledore was halted due to the pandemic, there, an anonymous woman declared the actor lived in a cult-like environment, almost like a commune, with several people living in the Airbnb rented by the actor, who apparently had a short-lived relationship with an 18-year-old woman at a time when he was 27. The predilection for girls is an overarching character trait we see displayed in these men. This is a classic tactic to create a power imbalance. Miller is predatory and seeks out children to control and induct into his cult. Mia Solange said he left her with bite marks. Of course, the other issue with Miller is that he uses the non-binary pronouns like they and them, and seems to seek out young troubled teens that identify the same way. This is the erasure of sex-based violence. We can even see it in the print media that I'm reading from that I have edited to display the correct pronouns. This displays the effects of so-called gender identity full tilt. Miller uses this as an identity to hide behind and as a way to abuse others. He preys on young women and their energy, but of course we should call him they-them, right? Here, Miller strays from the pack. Depp and Manson are older and do not subscribe to gender identity. However, we still see an obsession with the dark arts. Stay tuned for part 2, The Peter Pan Factor.